coming out, and we're going to try and play some tracks on them from it. But what we've got to do, I think, we've got to get the format right before we can play them. So what I want to do before we'll talk about the work you've been doing since you last came in a moment. So what I'm going to do is, while we sort out the memory stick and the format of the tracks, I'm going to play that Nirvana track, and then we'll get that sorted out, and then we'll come back and chat a bit more, and then hopefully be able to play something from your recent recordings. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do that. Smells like Teen Spirit.
Oh yeah.
Right. Have you got your? You've got to take it out to the office. I'll get the get Alana to try and.
Good luck.
To go with them?
No.
By being different in the new environment.
And obviously New Roots provide that support for an awful lot of people, and you're one of many people. And how much of a difference when you came to Norwich? How much of a difference did New Roots make for you?
Well, I found a place because we all would like to find a place where we are welcome. And one thing for sure, I'm gonna say is nobody leaves a place where they have peace. And one of the causes of immigration.
Welcome back. Homogeneous is a new species of human being.
There is no peace.
That's what I am. We are
college level here. It was time to go to uni, but unfortunately in the country where I was living in, we didn't have like student finance that supports your studies and then reclaim that debt back. So I was stuck in working in a bar, nothing against, but it wasn't my thing. Because I never dreamed to work in a bar. Everything that I ever did, one thing that is one common denominator to everything that I was involved to, I always wanted to contribute something to the people, to serve people in some other way. In this way, when I do music, I'm serving people, even if it's just uplifting their spirit, because this track, as we say, Untamed, is very empowering, very uplifting. And working in a bar, I didn't feel like I was attending to that calling of helping people, serving people. So when my little sister was born, she's 11 now.
Oh yeah.
So I only developed this side, but the way that I was raised, it was different from Europe kind of way, because I was born in Africa. And the way that we were raised is a little bit different, because we do not develop this emotional bond or this venting thing, whether with parents or whether we just don't do it. When I remember when I was speaking with this colleague at work, she's a senior member of staff, and we were having conversation. I told him I'm going to Norwich to visit my mom, and she told me, "Ooh, you miss home, huh? I bet you're gonna all be cuddle." I told her, me and my mom, we don't hug each other. And she looked at me like, oh, poor man. But it's that kind of thing.
So it's a different relationship.
Exactly.
Type of relationship.
It's not like I love her. She's my mom. But we're not right. She didn't raise me on the place that I was raised. We don't raise people to be all lovey-dovey, hugging stuff. I do hugging with my little sister, which is fine because she was born in Europe, and when she kind of taught me to be emotional, to express emotion, but in the way that I was raised, and that's why I think is good thing that happening now, and not only with the female empowering, and men also are now finding out that we were not raised properly.
Do you know what? I think it's interesting. If you go back 100 years or 150 years, Victorian times, I think people showed their emotions a lot less.
Exactly.
So I think it was like that. I'm told if you go back further than that, though, that people did show their emotions much more in this country, women and men, you know, and it was quite normal for men to sort of hug one another because they were pleased to see each other, and that's coming back. People are being more emotional and more expressive, and I think that's a good thing. Showing your emotions, expressing them, showing people how you feel.
Because emotion, you cannot hold it. If you do not express it in the healthy way, it's gonna come out in a bad way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whether it's through anger.
Be an online at futureradio.co.uk. It's Norwich Today with me, Mike Stonard, and we've got Roshan Dykes from New Roots and MussaTheMessiah in with us, and that track Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, something that inspired him, a track that inspired him when he was writing, in particular Untamed, the track we played earlier on. So Mussa, you've been writing and recording. Tell us about that since you last came in.
Well, since I last came in, I've been writing and recording. I'm a perfectionist. I like to push myself, push the boundaries, and I think we all have the power to shape in this world. So when I think about, I always use music for a kind of relief. Music and the writing, like I told you last time I was here, I was a writer, a lazy writer.
Lazy writer.
We write small poems, small text, and decide to put melody and beat behind it. So music is very therapeutic, and so I think the reason why it took me so long to get my career and my music out is because the need to express was more important than the need to be heard. So for me, it was more important to lay those ideas, to write them down, to take them out of my chest, than to people to hear it. But then, like I say, if a person can listen to my music, it can help them in any way, shape or form, then I've made a contribution. If you attend to that call that I told you before.
Because if you're writing poetry, by putting it to music, you're making it more accessible to people through the music. There's another hook, if you like, for people to listen to it and listen to the words and understand your meaning.
Exactly. So it doesn't sound so preachy as well. So while it's still entertaining, because music is used as a vehicle of entertaining, but if you could sneak a good message through it, at the same time, so you win double. You win double when you do that, and that's what I've been doing. So it's shaping, because when I write, it's very raw. I write heavy and raw, and but I need to put in the format in the way that people can appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you were saying earlier on. It's almost as if you were saying you had all these thoughts and ideas in your chest, and you had to get them out on paper, or had to get them out and express them. So that's how you started writing. It was because you had something to say and you wanted to get it out there.
Exactly, because the way that I was raised and